is up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and today we're going to be doing another episode of Ranked. And today's episode of Ranked is going to be on Game of Thrones. Since Season 7 is about, it's going to be a week from tomorrow, I believe, as of making this video. I figured why not I go back to the first 6 seasons and rank the first 6 seasons. And, you know, I saw the first 6 seasons for the first time earlier on this year, and I had a blast watching all 6 seasons. So now I decided why not I rank all 6 of the seasons and see which ones I like from, you know, worst to best. So without further ado, let's get right into my rank of the Game of Thrones seasons. And another thing, there's going to be spoilers in this because I want to talk about what I really loved about these seasons. So I might talk about some key moments that happened in these seasons. So you've been warned. There's going to be spoilers for all 6 of the seasons of Game of Thrones. So if you haven't seen any of the 6 seasons, then I would not recommend watching this episode ranked. So here we go. So you've been warned. Let's get right into it. So coming in at number 6 in last place is Season 5. Season 5 is not bad per se. I don't think it's a bad season. It's just, it's boring as hell. Like, it really is. It is a boring as hell season. Like, it's, like I said, it's not bad. It's just what really holds it back is that it has some really boring storylines to it. The best storylines, I think, were Jon Snow's, Jaime's was actually pretty great, and I think that's really about it, honestly. I could care less of what was going on in King's Landing. I could care less what was going on with Sansa. I could care less, to be completely honest, of what was going on with Tyrion and Daenerys. I could care less about a lot of those things. And that's a big problem. When you can care less about a lot of the storylines in the season, that's a problem. Like, that's a big, big problem. And, you know, and I love Arya as a character, but this is when her storyline started getting really, really boring. Like, honestly, and yeah, and just the way to use some of the characters, and just some of the stuff that just happens is not that great. Like, there is some great moments, like, you know, like the wildlings and the Watch versus like the White Walkers and stuff. That was cool. Like, I love that scene in the season. That was great. And of course, you know, the death of Jon Snow. Yeah, we'll get more into that afterwards. But, you know, that happened in this season. So there were some great moments, you know, and there really was. But for the most part, to be honest with you, it was just a really just kind of just decent season. It was really kind of a mediocre season to me, like, for the first half of it. But they got a little bit better in the second half, so it kind of got a little bit better, but really not that by that much. So, yeah, Season 5 definitely is the weakest season to me. It's really, really boring, and I don't enjoy this season all that much. It's decent at best. Not a bad season by any means, just decent. So, coming in at number 5 is Season 2. Let me just say that from 5 to 2, I gave all of them an A. So, this is just me putting them slightly above each other. Just ones I slightly think are better. And Season 2 gets kind of a little bit of flack because I know a lot of people say that this is the weakest season. I kind of really disagree with that because really what I think they tried to do with Season 2 was be much more of a character-driven season instead of being, you know, kind of bold and epic. And I can kind of appreciate that. Actually, I can really appreciate that with this season. I think this season does a really great job of really just focusing on its characters, really. And there's some really great storylines that happen in this season. I believe this is the season where Tyrion becomes, you know, Hand of the King. And it's just great. Like, I love it. It's so fantastic. And what happens in this season is so great. This has one of my all-time favorite lines from any of the Game of Thrones seasons. This is just a great season. Of course, the best moment to happen in this entire season was the Battle of Blackwater. I called it the Battle of King's Landing in my review, and I don't know why it was called the Battle of Blackwater. But this was great. Just when you see that arrow just flying, it blows up all the ships, and just mayhem, bloodshed upon bloodshed upon bloodshed upon bloodshed happens in this season, happens in that one scene, and it's great. Definitely one of the best action sequences I've ever seen on film. It's quite great. Overall, the season, I think, is a really great character-driven season. Really focuses on his characters a lot, and I really like that. It really does just focus on his characters, and I think it was great at doing that. Really just focusing on the characters, and really just, really just focusing on them, and not trying to be kind of too epic and too, kind of just overdoing it. I really appreciate that with this season. So, yeah, Season 2 comes at number 5. Number 4. Season 4. Season 4 is really great. Season 4 has a lot going for it. I will admit, there's a lot of great things that do indeed happen in Season 4. And I really love a lot of the things that happen in Season 4. And this has arguably one of the best storylines to ever happen in the show so far. The whole, Tyrion's on trial because, Joffrey was killed and he's being accused for it. So, that has one of the best storylines ever, and it's just great. Like, I love it so much. And once you get to that, trial scene, which I could make an argument it's the best scene in the entire show so far. It really is. Just when Tyrion loses his mind and just goes off on everybody, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen on television. Just the way that Peter Dinklage gives his performance in that scene is great and shows how much of an acting range this guy can have, and it's fantastic. Like, I absolutely love that scene so much. And not only just that, but there's a lot of great action that happens in this season as well. Like, it's just really great. I love it a lot. It seriously is. This is a really fantastic season. This has one of the best times I've ever seen Jaime. This has some of the best I've ever seen of Jon Snow, and it's just really great. Like, I really love Season 4 a lot. Season 4 is a really fantastic season, and it's quite great. So yeah, that's why Season 4 comes in at my number 4. Number 3, Season 1. Season 1, the one where it all started it all, where it started it all. I can't speak apparently. But, yeah, this is where it all started. Season 1. And Season 1, I know some people are going to think I'm crazy for playing it over Season 4, but what Season 1 did for me, Season 1 is very important. Especially if you're binge watching a show. Season 1 is very important because this is either going to make it or break it for you. You're going to continue on from here, or you're just going to stop. That's what I think. And I really think Season 1 really makes me want to go and watch all the other seasons. And I did. So, Season 1 is really great. Just seeing the evolution with these characters is quite great. Like, seeing where they first were in Season 1 is so great. Like, I love that. Like, you see Jon gonna go to the Watch. Go to the Wall and join the Watch and everything. And, Ned, who's my favorite character in the entire show, who is greatly played by Sean Bean. It's just, everything was great about this season. It's so fantastic. It's so intriguing. Like, some of the storylines that happen in this, especially with Ned and the Starks. Like, this is the best I've ever seen the Starks in any of the seasons. Like, this was great. Like, I love this. And, man, it was just so fantastic. So great. I love it. And, of course, this is the season that had, of course, the incest scene, which really kind of was like, this is not going to be like any other show I'm ever going to watch, isn't it? Like, that's really what made me think that. And, yeah, and it really is. It really is just such a great show. And then, of course, what happens with Ned Stark, which made me really upset because, like I say, he's my favorite character in the entire series. And he gets his head chopped off, and I'm like, that's when it really proved to me, because, a lot of people did tell me beforehand that, don't get too attached to these characters, and I did, and look what happened. So, that was And also, that's when I found out when episode 9, for the most part, is really all the best episodes of all the seasons. That's like the season finale. It's like the season finale, and then it's like the season finale is kind of just like an aftermath of what happened with episode 9. That's really what it is, but yeah, it was a great season. It really starts off this show very, very well, in my opinion, and really kind of gets you going of what's going to happen next in this and the rest of it, honestly. And it's so great. I love season 1 so much. It's so incredible. So yeah, definitely a way to start off the season, start off the series in general. So yeah, season 1 comes in at number 3. Number 2, season 6. Season 6, what goes down in this season is quite epic, if you ask me. Season 6, just wow. Season 6 blew me away so much. It really did. Like, just everything that happens in this season is so great. Like, what I love about this show happens in this season. Like, it really does. And it's so fantastic. Like, everything from it, from the characters. Like, Jon Snow, this was his season. This was Jon Snow's season. And it was glorious. This is the best I've ever seen of the character. Honestly, like, this season just really focuses, he is like the main focus of this season, and it is great, and I loved him in this season. He was so fantastic. Just everything was great, and then, of course, the Battle of the Bastards, which might be, I'm really torn between this or the Battle of Blackwater is my favorite battle in any of the in the whole entire series. Like, that Battle of the Bastards sequence is so magnificent. It's so great. It was so well filmed, and it's so well filmed and so well shot, and kind of just a beautiful disaster, if you kind of think about it. Like, just, it's bloodshed upon bloodshed upon bloodshed upon bloodshed, and it's great. Like, just so incredible. And then when you get to the actual, like, when they get into the actual kingdom and whatever, and they take back Winterfell, it's so great. Like, when just Jon is just pummeling Ramsay Snow, it's such a great sequence. And it really is. Just everything about season 6, for the most part, really was really great. And I think they did such an incredible job. And especially after what happened with season 5, where that was just kind of really weak and really improving upon themselves, and almost topping themselves, because this almost topped my number 1 for them. It really did. Like, it was close. It was really close. And season 6, just wow, what a season. And really, after that series season finale, I was like, I need season 7 now. I need it now. So yeah, season 6, what a fantastic season. So yeah, season 6 comes out at number 2. My number one favorite season of Game of Thrones is season 3. Season 3. Wow. It's season 3, man. Alright. Season 3, because, I love the first 2 seasons. I thought those were fantastic. I heard some people say season 3 was the best season, so I was like, pretty excited to see where season 3 could go. And honestly, every storyline in this season was so intriguing and so interesting, and this is some of the best I've ever seen of the characters. This is still the best I've ever seen Daenerys. I haven't talked about Daenerys and really the other things, because, I like her in those seasons. Well, seasons 4 and 1, not so much, but in this season, this really proved to me that she's like, because I never really understood why some people consider her like one of the greatest characters in the entire show until this season. This is the season that really proved to me that this character is a true badass, and I loved it. This is the best I've seen of the character this far, and Emilia Clarke does such a fantastic job in this season. Also, Jaime. Jaime is a jerk. Let's be completely for real. Jaime is a jerk. But really in this season, this is when he started coming to terms and really kind of, really starting to grow turn a new leaf, I guess you could say. And he's starting to realize to himself, man, I am a jerk. I should really try to stop being one. And that was great. And this is the best I've seen Jamie in any of the series. To be honest, he's so great in this season. Nikolai Coster-Waldau gives such a great performance in this season. And that brutal scene where he gets his hand cut off. Holy crap. And yeah, he was just so great. Jon Snow trying to, go with the wildlings and everything. That was great. Like, I love that about this season. Just really a lot of things about this season was excellent. And then, of course, the most brutal scene in all of the series, the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding is still probably the most brutal thing I've ever seen on television. It's so brutal. And the scene is so, you're just in awe because of how much they just go all out with this sequence. And it's great. Like, it's just not really beautiful, but really just it's a disaster upon a disaster. It's a horrific disaster. There you go. That's how you put it. A horrific disaster. That's what this was, and it's also so well handled. It's not like overtly violent, even though there's a lot of blood going on. But that's what I liked. It wasn't like that. It was just a sequence that had you in shock because just everyone was dying because everyone was it was death upon death upon death upon death. That's what this was. And it's definitely the most brutal sequence of anything in this entire series. And it's great. And just this entire season overall is just so fantastic. The way they handle things in this season is so great. It's by far the best season that they have ever done. I honestly don't know how season 7 will, or season 8, I don't know how the last 2 seasons can really top this season for me, because everything was perfect about season 3, and I absolutely love it. It's so great. It's by far my favorite season, and it's the only season to get an A+ for me so far, and it's so great. Like, this is television at its finest. Season 3 is definitely TV at its finest, and I love it. So yeah, season 3 is my favorite season. So that was my ranking of all 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. And if you have seen all 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, how would you rank them? Leave them in the comment section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you all later. Peace.